Our Gatorade game leaders taking a closer look at Taylor's amazing season. Mentioned the goals record, also broke Hannah Nielsen's 16-year-old program record for points in a season. Taylor has scored a combined 16 goals in NU's 2 NCAA tourney wins. That gets us to our big interview. The head coach of the Wildcats, Kelly Amonte Hiller, who joins us now from Evanston. Coach, congratulations on another Final Four, 16th of your amazing career, the 6th in a row for the Cats. What made this one special?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think this group has made this special. This group is really hardworking, very coachable, and they just always go out there with great love for each other and play as hard as they can.
I remember talking to Tom Izzo when Michigan State was in the midst of a run of Final Fours, and he said to me, I have to remind our fans occasionally that the Final Four isn't on our schedule, that we actually have to work to get there. How do you deal with that pressure, Coach, where there is an expectation, certainly externally and maybe even internally every year, of getting to this point?
Absolutely. We try to unpack that as much as we can. We obviously can't unpack it for the fans, but we just try to control what we can control. And, we talk about those things. We talk about, how we need to be mentally, the things that we need to focus in on. And, when you create that type of mindset, it helps take some of that pressure off.
Well, this program has had incredible success, 8 national championships. I think there's so many amazing aspects to this story of Northwestern women's lacrosse. But when you took over, I'm not sure people realize it hadn't been a varsity program in more than a decade. And in very short order, you built a national powerhouse. What are you proudest of in terms of what you've built in Evanston?
I think I'm just proudest of the way that our girls carry themselves, how they are elite academically, but also athletically, and, just who the people they become and how they really stick together as a group. I think those are the biggest things, and kind of the results are a byproduct of those things.
We mentioned Madison Taylor. She set the NCAA record for single-season goals yesterday, 105 and counting for her. What has set her apart this year?
Yeah, I think it's a different year. And in the past couple of years, when she's been on the team, she's had, 2 superstars in Izzy Skane and Erin Kuykendall, and now we have a collective group, and she's the leader of that group. And she's not only done an amazing job scoring goals, but being a leader and distributing the ball too. I think she's got 40 some odd assists as well. So she's really the complete package, and she just comes to compete and believe every time she steps out on the field.
It's amazing to me, Coach, that she was not a particularly heavily recruited player coming out of high school, certainly not at the level of some of the other players who play on your team at Northwestern, who are among the top national recruits in the country. What do you think that you saw in Madison that maybe others didn't?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to Izzy Skane, just the athletic ability, the body control. And, in meeting her family and meeting her, I just saw her work ethic, how hard she worked, how much she loved this game. And, that's a cornerstone for greatness for sure.
Well, her club coach was Shannon Smith, who was one of the great players in Northwestern history. And it kind of brings up a broader point, which is your coaching tree. There are so many of your former players and former assistants who are now leading programs, or in that case, leading a top-level club. What does it mean to you to have made that impact on the sport?
Yeah, I think it means a lot. I try to support all of my coaches as much as possible, even if we're going up against them. I think that is something that I'm really proud of. I hope that it's helping our game grow, and just putting more people into the sport that love it and want to give back to it.
Well, speaking of growing the sport, Northwestern is going to host the Final Four next year. It'll be the first time that this tournament has ever been held in the Central Time Zone. And I think it's fair to say there's no way in the world that it would be here were it not for the fact that you have built this national powerhouse. What will it mean for lacrosse in the Chicago area to have the women's Final Four here?
I mean, I think it means the world. We've been talking about this moment for a long time to be able to host the Final Four. And, you know, just the people at Northwestern are so supportive and have really helped us make that happen. And, you know, I'm really forever grateful. I hope it's a great step for our sport just to show that people can show up if it's not on the East Coast. I think, you know, they show up for our home games, and we plan to pack that stadium for the Final Four no matter what teams are in it.
Well, let's talk about this year's Final Four. I mentioned the matchup with BC. This is a team that beat you guys in the Final Four a season ago, and that also beat you earlier this year. They have built a really outstanding program as well. Give us the scouting report on the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty dynamic. They have a lot of scorers, you know, 2 elite feeders, you know, and their defense and goaltending is really tough as well. So, you know, anytime you get to this point in the season, that's what you're going to face. We have a rivalry with them. We have a lot of familiarity with them. So we're really excited about the matchup and the opportunity to play, especially being in, you know, an NFL stadium. That's pretty cool.
To what extent do you use what happened a year ago or even earlier in the season as motivation?
I think it's always there. All that is motivation for sure. And, you know, our girls want to be successful at the highest level. So they're going to prepare hard this week, and we're going to go out there and fight as hard as we can.
Kelly Amonte Hiller, really a pleasure to visit with you. Congratulations on another Final Four, and best of luck to the Cats next weekend.
Thanks so much. Go Cats.